Hello, we're Redware. You can find us at redware.com, and this is just a video to accompany our blog post on querying CRM Dynamics 365 data with OData. So it's just a quick tutorial, really, and just showing you some of the features of OData that lets you select data quite easily from Microsoft CRM using the Web API. So first of all, the address of your Web API is, if you go to Settings, Customizations, Developer Resources, you'll find it there. Don't confuse it with an older OData thing. This is the new Web API. And if you put that URL in, you're already logged on to CRM. You have to register if you're going to call this from an external program, which we'll show you how to do in another blog, or look it up. But here we put in the URL, and it's showing us all the entity sets that are available in CRM. Now, some of them are familiar, like accounts, and some of them not. In fact, if you put in $metadata, it's going to give you the whole description of the Web API that's available with lots and lots of features. So our blog is it's very big, that XML document. Our blog is here, which might give you a little bit more information. And so there's the blog, but I'm just going to go through this manually, just showing you how it works. So what we've got here, we've got our API, our OData endpoint, and we know there's an entity set called accounts. So if we do this, it's going to list us all the accounts with all the fields up to a maximum. I think in CRM it might be 5,000 is the sort of maximum that you can bring down in one go. Now that's too many for us to handle. So on the end of the URL, we're going to put $top equals 5, which is going to get us just the top 5 records. If we scroll down, there's only 5 records being pulled off the server, and of course that makes the query more efficient, so we're not overloading the server too much, but there's still a bit too much information for us. So on this next one, I'm going to get the top 10 records, but I'm going to only get here with the $select. I'm going to say just give me the name and account number. And if you look here, this is returning JSON, which is a very familiar format for your JavaScript programmers. And if we look at like one of the values here, you can see it's returning an E tag, which is basically a unique ID, the name ABS Garages, the account number ABS01, and you can't get away from it, the account ID, which is Dynamics CRM's GUID. So there you have it. You got 10 records coming down, and just note that there's a question mark after the entity set, and then it goes $top, and then between each of the dollar clauses you got an ampersand in there, and that makes this thing, the whole thing here, a sort of valid URL. And that's what Microsoft have done really with their OData standard. They've sort of created a select and query language that's compatible with the internet, and is really fantastic. So now, if we know the ID, we can put that in brackets after the entity set, and then just get the single record back. So here you are. We've put in the ID here, and we've said just give us the name. Still giving us a little bit of extra information. And if you're a JavaScript programmer, you can pull that entity back and then send it, update it, delete it, and so on. So let's go back to querying, several records. And the thing is, it's coming back in JSON, which isn't the easiest thing to read, unless, of course, you're a JavaScript programmer, in which case I'm sure it's second nature. So we've developed, really for our own purposes, but you can play with it if you want to. We've developed a little OData browser here, where we can type in the sort of portion of the OData query here, and we can sort of flatten it out and see it as a as a sort of like a spreadsheet format and then export it if we want to. So what we've done here is we've just defined the CRM. This is this ID that I told you about. You need to go into your admin and basically register the app with an ID, and then you can consume it with OData. So if we look at this one here, we're going to get the top 5 accounts, and we're going to just show the name and the account number and order it by name. If I put descending on the end there, it's going to do it in the reverse order and just give me the top 5 records. So it's just a simple way of visualizing the JSON. If you want to see the JSON, you can tick it here, and this is available for anybody who wants to play with it. For now, if you give us some feedback, we'd really appreciate. I don't know if we're going to take it much further than this. But it's good for illustrating our thing. So here we're going top 10. We're going to select some fields. We're going to order by, but we're going to add a filter. This time we're just going to look for where the city is equal to London. So if we press show, in fact we don't really want the JSON. If we press show, we've only got one record in our database with the equal. And there's other things you can do: greater than, less than, starts with, and so on. There's a lot you can do there. So the idea obviously is to reduce the number of records and the number of fields that you're pulling down off the server. Now you might have a related entity. So in this case, we know that this particular account here has got a primary contact ID, which refers to a contact in CRM. And what we can do is we can show it, and it's taking with the expand clause. It's saying expand on that field, which is going to link through to the contact record, by the way, and just select the full name, and that'll show that like that. We could add some extra fields in there, comma last name, for example, and show the last name, and so on. So you can relate using the expand clause. You can relate up to from a many entity to a one entity, and drag in the appropriate fields. Now there's some special ones in CRM, which is the customer field. The customer could be either an account or a contact. So in this case, I think this is special just to CRM. You can put customer ID underscore account, and that's going to do the link through to the account and pull through the address, name, and the city. And you can see here's a bit of JSON creeping in. So basically we're seeing here the invoice number, and from the related account we're seeing the account name and the account city. So you can play again the same principle with related records. And then there's also relations the other way, which I'll show you here. It's probably so here we're seeing an account, and then we're seeing against that all the invoices. I mean, I don't think our browser's showing it very well. So you're seeing here ABS garages, and you're seeing this invoice and this invoice sort of inside in the JSON, sort of all wrapped in. So you can take the relationships either way round. So just in summary, OData is a really fantastic way to query your databases. It's got great support from Microsoft, and other people are starting to support it. You can select using these clauses the top. You can select the fields. You can filter it down. You can expand it to related entities either way, either from a many to a one, or expand it so from customers to invoices. So it's a one to a many. And if you're a JavaScript programmer, you can send the data back and update it and so on. Within CRM, in fact, the web API lets you drag OData into a form itself. But if you're calling it from an external program like we're doing, you need to just get you this ID from your admin setup. And please have a look at our OData browser and give us a bit of feedback, and maybe we can develop it a bit further if we get some people liking it. So thanks for watching.